Hi, everybody. Wishing all of you a very good afternoon and welcome to upGrad Abroad's webinar on studying hospitality in top 1% universities across the world. We're going to be talking about a university in Australia and bringing to you a variety of courses that you can study in hospitality in Australia. In one of the universities that are in the top 1%, there are about 25,000 universities in the world. The top 250 or the top 300 universities are normally referred to as the top 1% universities in the world. Hospitality, as you know, for a variety of reasons, is one of the most booming sectors across the world, especially now more than ever because of a sudden surge in individuals across the world who are going back to traveling across the world, who are going back to eating out, going back to organizing physical forums. The industries that are boom at this point. And also, I think it is one of those industries that is actually fail-proof when it comes to, we normally talk about how machines, robots, or any automation is going to disrupt or render obsolete some of the industries in the world. Hospitality is one of them, which can never actually actually face any fear with regards to that. Hospitality includes tourism, events, hotel management, and any such domain or any such subject stream or courses, which includes, world tourism, global conferences, hotel chains and resorts across the world, and the management of some of these food chains, breweries, or hotel chains across the world. So I'm sure you're all excited to know how do you actually get started managing such an industry or working for such an industry or building one on your own. Also, I think it's a good point to start that some of the largest hotel chains in the world are actually institutions and hotels that you actually practice in while your education is on. So when you're studying hospitality, you might as well get exposed to some of the biggest chains like Hyatt, Marriott, Hilton, and the likes of it. So that gives every student a large amount of exposure. I think food tech industry has been booming like anything in India. I think whether it's the hotels or food chains, one degree that connects all of them is a hospitality degree. I'd love to introduce my guest speaker here, Mr. Vaibhav Kwatra, who's joining us from James Cook University, Brisbane. Before I call Vaibhav upon, I just want to introduce James Cook University. So James Cook is a university based in Brisbane, various locations in Australia, as well as has a Singapore campus. James Cook is one of the top 1% universities in the world as per Times Higher Education ranking, fits between 250 to 300 on THER rankings, which makes it one of the best universities in the world to study hospitality. Would love to welcome Vaibhav.
Thank you. Thanks, Praneeth. Thanks for that introduction. And it's always a pleasure to come and interact with students. Very good afternoon to all of you. If you allow me, Praneeth, I have a few slides to share with the audience today, where I would like to tell them about James Cook University, Brisbane at large.
Absolutely. So we'll jump right into it. Just prior to that, I'd love to introduce upGrad. Also, upGrad, as you all know, is a world-acclaimed, world-recognized higher education platform, which connects some of the best universities across the world and makes it way more affordable, accessible, and flexible for Indian students to pursue their higher education, giving them a chance to start their degree in India and actually transfer on campus after a year. James Cook has been very orchestrative in this process, where we've pioneered with JCU as one of the foremost or one of the beginning institutions that worked with us on this model. So an Australian degree, for all of you to know, should cost you about 60 lakhs. But with our special understanding and our program with James Cook, where you do 1 year in India, 2 years at the JCU campus, you can actually bring down the cost of your degree program to almost 28 lakhs. So with that, just wanted to introduce upGrad's mission of ensuring that some of these world-leading, world-class institutions across the world, the top 250 or 300 universities in the world, are, studying in them becomes much more easier. You can get tons of scholarship, but also finally graduate out of one of these universities and get placed in some of the top companies in the world that would have otherwise been impossible should you have decided to stay in India. After Vaibhav takes you through a slide deck, I would love to take up any questions that you have when it comes to Australian education, or when it comes to hospitality or building a career in it. While Vaibhav moves forward, I would also love for him to introduce us. Introduce to us his university and the different portfolio of courses that JCUB has to offer, and the different campus options that JCUB has to offer. All yours, Vaibhav.
Thank you, Praneeth. I'll just share my screen. Just allow me a second. There you go. So I hope you all can see my screen. So I want to introduce you to JCU Brisbane. So JCU is James Cook University, which was established in the year 1970. So we have more than 50 years of age already. And we have campuses across the state of Queensland. I represent JCU Brisbane campus, and we also have campuses in Cairns and Townsville, which are the other two campuses in the state of Queensland. Talking about Brisbane, so Brisbane is a Queensland State University with a subtropical climate. We have a population about 2.4 million people in Brisbane. And one of the highlights of Brisbane is that if you compare it with the other capital cities, like say a Melbourne or a Sydney, it has a relatively lower cost of living in Brisbane, which is very important factor for any international student looking to pursue their education abroad. Why you should consider Brisbane, why you should come to Brisbane and study with us. So it's a very welcoming city. Australia in itself is a very welcoming country, and Brisbane is another welcoming city. We get more than 75,000 international students from more than 160 countries that have chosen Brisbane as their destination for higher education. We get students from every walk of life. We have got a multicultural society in Australia and in Brisbane in particular. If you see, nearly 30% of the Brisbane population was born overseas. That shows that it's a very multicultural city. It also hosts the Australia's largest welcome festival for international students. And one of the points that I always highlight is that if you compare Brisbane with the other Australian capitals, it is the fastest growing in terms of employment. What this means for an aspiring international student is that when you are actually looking to come to Australia to study, the one question that you always have in your mind is the return on investment. So if you are coming to a city which offers you excellent job opportunities after completing the degree, that means that you will be able to recover the cost of education much quicker by working and getting that required international exposure. Giving you a bit of a background about JCU, so the Brisbane campus was established in the year 2006. We are located in the heart of Brisbane Central Business District. We've got popular courses across undergrad and postgraduate level, which I'm going to talk to you in detail in the upcoming slides. The focus for JCU has always been on employment and to ensure that we prepare work-ready graduates. And of course, we give a lot of personal attention to each student because of our class sizes. So as compared to other universities, our class size is much smaller. We have about 50 students in each class, which ensures that the faculty is able to give excellent attention to each student and to ensure that they achieve the study and the learning outcomes from the program. Talking about the study areas at Brisbane, we've got accounting, we've got business, hospitality, tourism, and management. This is why you all are here. We want to know more about hospitality. We also have IT and social work courses available on the campus. Talking about the different programs, we've got a Bachelor's of Business, which gives you an opportunity to specialize in either international business. You can take up a major in management, hospitality, tourism, or business intelligence and information systems. We also have a program in IT, which is the Bachelor's of IT, another very popular program with us. Then we have Bachelor's of Commerce, where you can major in accounting. Then you have the Bachelor's of Tourism, Hospitality, and Events. And we also have a new Bachelor's of Social Work program that we will be launching this year. In terms of the intakes, we've got 3 intakes in a year. The first one is in February, followed by May and September. Coming to the postgraduate programs, you've got excellent dual degrees as well. So apart from the single degrees like the MBA, the MIT, and the professional accounting, so if you see that these master's degree complement the undergrad degrees beautifully, because we have a bachelor's of business at the undergrad level, and complement that we have a MBA with us. So, and we also have a hospitality program at the undergrad level, and then we have a master's as well. So both the undergrad and postgrad degrees, they complement each other quite well. We also offer dual degrees, so you can actually graduate with 2 master's degrees in 2 years. So we have a professional accounting and MBA, we have a IT and MBA, we have got masters of education and MBA, and again the intakes for even our postgraduate programs remains the same, which is February, May, and September. Some of the features of JCU Brisbane, as I was mentioning earlier, we are located in the heart of Brisbane, which is very easily accessible by bus, train, ferries, or if there are so many shopping complexes as well. And it's right at the walking distance of the riverfront, which is again a very beautiful site for any student. We have got a job links employment services, and this team is dedicatedly working to ensure that we are preparing work ready graduates. They help you taking up the professional internships, which is part of your course, and we'll talk in detail about that in some more time. We also help you getting those part-time and full-time jobs after completing your degree. I was talking about the personal attention that is given to each student. So if you can see, the class size at JCU Brisbane is small compared to other universities. So we have an average of 50 students studying in a class, which ensures a better attention to each student. Uh, I'm sure all of you would want to know what are the financial benefits that you would get if you come and study at JCU Brisbane. So we have got a scholarship of up to 25% that we offer, but mind you, this is only for students who are looking for a direct undergrad program at JCU Brisbane. We also have a pathway program where students can study the first year at the comfort of their home with upGrad, and that partnership is with Chandigarh University. You can study a BBA and then come to JCU Brisbane for your Bachelor's of Business or your Bachelor's of Commerce. So what are the entry requirements for getting an entry into any undergrad program? It's a straight 60% from All India Board and a 65% from a state board. But if you're looking to get any scholarship, if you're looking to apply for a 25% scholarship, we need a minimum of 62.5 in the top 4 academic subjects in your year 12. And if you are from a state board, then you need to score 67.5 in your top 4 subjects in year 12. Talking about BIT and Bachelors of Social Work, you need a 65 and a 70 respectively in the All India and State Board to get a 25% scholarship. There's another very important announcement that I have to make for students who would be starting with JCU Brisbane in this year, 2022. They will be given a $5,000 warm welcome grant, which is an added benefit to any student coming to a foreign land to pursue their higher education. Talking about the PG scholarship criteria, it's pretty straightforward. So if you're from a Section 1 university with a 50%, or from a Section 2 university with a 55, and from a Section 3 with a first division, then you get a 25% scholarship straight up from JCU Brisbane. I'll pass it on to Praneeth. This is what I had to share, but I'm sure there will be a lot of questions from you, and I'll be happy to address those.
Thanks, Vaibhav. At this point, I'd love to throw in a context that Brisbane is not just one of the best student cities in Australia, but across the world, it counts as one of the top 20 student cities to live in. Also, I think the two campuses that Vaibhav mentioned, out of which one Gold Coast. So these the Cairns campus, Cairns, Gold Coast, and Brisbane together make up for almost 75% of the entire tourism crowd in Australia. It's one of the leading holiday cities in the world, which are regularly visited. Um and also, I think in terms of uh, the student life, Brisbane has a very multicultural crowd. I'd love for Vaibhav to share a quick video on James Cook University Brisbane campus, which will give you a good insight. Let me try playing it for everybody. Um, Give me a quick minute, please. Meanwhile, I would love for Vaibhav to also talk about some of the leading hospitality degrees, because there's somebody here who asked if you have a patisserie and cuisine management course under James Cook. Just give me a quick minute, please.
Yeah, I see that question from Pragna. So Pragna, the hospitality program at James Cook University is more for students looking to get into the administrative side of things in the hospitality industry. But what you are asking is more of a culinary program where you learn how to make pastries and baking. So this is slightly different, but as Praneeth mentioned, it's a fantastic place. Queensland and Brisbane in particular is a fantastic place to study any hospitality degree. It's the hotspot for hospitality, as we call it. So I think if you want to get into the administrative side of the things, then definitely you should look up at the Bachelor's of Tourism, Hospitality and Events program that we have to offer.
Great. Just give me 1 second while I play the video for everybody. Just wanted to do a quick check if you can hear the video. Vaibhav, can you?
No,
No,
there's no audio.
oh, no audio. Just give me a second, please. Sorry, everybody, lost my connection. Just give me a quick second. You hear the video now, Vaibhav? Okay, give me a quick second. There's something wrong, but I think regardless, I can at least show everybody how does the campus look like. Thank you for being with us. Just give me a second while I come back to
talking to Vaibhav. Right, so we have a few questions for you, Vaibhav, in the Q&A button. Would also request everybody else to just put down any questions that they have regarding hospitality or any course that you can pursue in Australia. The first one is, could you please tell me something about the UG dual degree program? I seem to have missed this part. Yes. So James Cook University was one of the foremost universities uh, that worked with upGrad or pioneered the model of a 1+2 blended setting where you can, so like Vaibhav mentioned, the average cost of James Cook University per year is going to be about 30,900 Australian dollars, on which upGrad learners get about a 20% scholarship, which brings your education cost to almost 24,000 Australian dollars a year, which should be anywhere between 13 lakhs a year of tuition fee alone. Now, while you pay 13 lakhs every year for 3 years of your bachelor degree, that should be about 39 lakhs. What upGrad allows you to do is you can start that degree program in India with Chandigarh University, which is our Indian university partner. In first year, your fee is just going to be 2.5 lakhs of rupees, and that is all. So you can actually save about 10.5 lakhs of tuition fee and another 7 to 8 lakhs of living costs. Almost 20 lakhs of of Indian rupees can be saved when you work with upGrad. This is not going to be a dual degree. It's just that we've made your first year of education pretty affordable. The first year, as you all know, is pretty foundational in nature, and it covers about foundational or basic subjects from grade 11 and 12, plus a good strong base of subjects that you need for the specialization years. Uh, while this is true for hospitality, business, IT, and even commerce degree at James Cook, it is also true for 25 other universities in the world, in Australia, UK, US, Canada, and Germany, 5 countries. With our first year of education, you can go and transfer to any of these countries. Hope that makes your question clear. So I've answered this live, marking it as done. Will there be any master's program in hospitality coming soon? Well, Vaibhav did introduce you to a master's degree in hospitality management. But if you're asking about upGrad's 1+1 or 1+2 models of, I mean, there will be no 1+2, but 1+1 model of hospitality management in masters, well, uh, we will have a specialization in that soon in an MBA or MIN program. But until then, I think I'd let Vaibhav talk on the Masters of Hospitality Management program that you can pursue with James Cook, with upGrad, through us, where Vaibhav can talk about a direct admission and talk about how much scholarship can we give if there's a master's program in hospitality, Vaibhav.
Talking about hospitality in Brisbane in particular. So see, let me give you a bit of a context and some background. So Brisbane is at the forefront of the growth surge in the cafe and restaurant industry. And in particular, latest trend of the, specialty cafes that you have seen. So in fact, the entire region of Brisbane, Gold Coast and Sunshine Coast have been a hotspot for this style of cafes and restaurants. And with coffee being the second most traded commodity around the world, there is no chance that the cafes and coffee shops will become scarce in the times to come. So cafe and restaurant industry growth in Brisbane is very promising for career prospects that all of you are looking at, and especially in this segment of hospitality field. And as a Bachelor of Tourism student at JCU, you will be prepared to work in a variety of settings, trust me, from small businesses to community organizations to multinationals and even large scale companies. So potential careers for a tourism and hospitality graduate would be, working as a cafe manager or a restaurant manager or event and conference organizer or even a tour operator and so on and so forth. And talking about the average salaries for this program, it would range somewhere between 50,000 to 70,000 Australian dollars per annum. Again, I'm coming back to the point of return on investment. So when you are spending so much money in dollars, you definitely expect to earn back in dollars as well, because some of you might be taking loans, some of you might be, have your own savings, but the idea, the agenda, the objective is to earn back that money as well, and most importantly, get that international exposure of working in Australia. And this is where Australia stands out, because it's not just giving you an opportunity to work, but also, you can stay back, you can work for 2 years, you can earn back the money, and you can pay off your loans. And I can say with a lot of pride that almost 100% of our hospitality students have been placed in the industry, because it's a booming industry and there are ample job opportunities available in Brisbane, in and around Brisbane, of course. Coming back to the question of the scholarship that you asked, Praneeth, so it will purely depend on the percentage of the student. So in your undergraduation, if you have completed an undergraduation from a Section 1 university with 50%, then you will be eligible for a 25% scholarship. And if you want to start this year in 2022, in May or the September intake, then you would also get a $5,000 warm welcome grant from JCU Brisbane.
Thanks for answering that, Vaibhav. We have a question asking, can a journalism and communication student pursue masters in hospitality, Vaibhav?
Uh, See, we welcome students from every background. So we are not saying that if you're from journalism field, you can't do a hospitality. Of course you can. Because even if I talk about the programs at JCU Brisbane, we offer students electives which are interdisciplinary. For instance, a student from business can take up an elective from hospitality. So that's always an option that is available with you. So if you have keen interest in hospitality, and if you want to make a career in this industry, then we are more than happy to look at your application, and basis the assessment and the faculty approval, you can definitely get an offer for the bachelor's or the master's program.
Thanks, Vaibhav. Also, would love for everybody to know at this point that for a bachelor's degree in Australia, uh, your eligibility criteria is going to be 50% in your board exams in grade 12th, after which you start the first year with us, and then you transition to the JCU campus in next year of September. The September of next year, which is if you start right now, you will be eligible to. So if you start with us in the March batch, and considering that you've already finished your grade 12th, you will be eligible to get a May or September intake in 23. If you haven't cleared your board examinations yet, you will start the academic year of so if you start in July with us, September 23 is the next intake for you. So you need a basic 50% grade in your class 12. But if you want to take up a BBA or a management program in tourism or event management or hospitality or any business administration degree, you need a 62.5% marks in your CBSE or ICSE board examinations to get a 20% scholarship. And if you want to take up a tech course, the BIT course that Weber was talking about, you need a 67.5% marks in your grade 12 examinations. We have a question here, Weber. Assuming that the program is 3 or 4 years long, how many internships are offered during the whole course in BA Hospitality and Tourism? Wonderful question. I think I'd let Vaibhav ask. I'd let Vaibhav answer for you.
So all the programs that are offered at JCU Brisbane have got a professional internship subject which is attached to the program. And again, to give you a bit of a context here, I mean, the teaching methodology and the pedagogy in Australia is very different from India. And this is for all the listeners to listen carefully, because if I talk about JCU Brisbane, we particularly focus a lot on practical and experiential learning. So what we try to do here is we try to bring the existing industry problems in the classroom so that you get the real world scenarios and you can do that hands-on learning. And what is the end objective from this? It is to ensure that you are better prepared for the workforce. Talking about internships, although it's part of your program, there will be assistance given to you from Job Links. So Job Links is our employment service division, which will help you get those internships in the right industries. Not just internships, but even your part-time and full-time jobs will be taken care by Job Links. They will be assisting you. They will be nurturing you throughout the process. And though this internship, students can be placed in professional organizations to work on a real project. And what you get at the end of this is that, one, you will have an industry experience by taking up this internship, and a validated referee for your resume, which will give you an unfair advantage over your peers.
Right, Vaibhav, thank you for taking that. Would love to ask from you the IELTS requirement for entering into James Cook, Vaibhav.
Sure. So for our bachelor's program, the IELTS requirement is an overall 6 with no module less than 6. So there are four different sections: speaking, reading, writing, and listening. So each module has to be 6 or above, and even the overall has to be minimum 6. There are other English proficiency tests that are acceptable, like the PTE and TOEFL. So if you are taking a PTE, you need to score a overall 52 with no module less than 52.
Right, Vaibhav. And also, I think I would love to know how many gap years are actually acceptable in Australia after the child has finished his grade 12 and is assumingly not working anywhere.
So see, if you have had a gap year during the COVID time, which is from 2020 to 2020 to till date, because we are still in the pandemic, it hasn't gone anywhere. So if you have a gap year in this period, we are happy to consider it. But if you have a gap year prior to the pandemic, then you will have to give us some evidence, or if you've done any certification course, or if you have taken up a part-time job or a full-time job, you need to give us some evidence. And if the faculty is satisfied, once they have assessed your profile, that the gap that you have taken is justified, then we are happy to look at the application. But I know most of the students in the audience would have gap only during this pandemic time, so this is totally acceptable with us.
Right, Vaibhav. Absolutely understood. The next question for you is the syllabus for hospitality management. I think uh, what we should rather advise is that you go to the JCUB website and pull up a Bachelor of Business Administration in Tourism and Hospitality Management, and should definitely be able to find the syllabus. Should you have any problem, we're always here to help. Uh, while that is going on, that also reminds me that it's now so much more easier if you're in India. Um to start as early for your Bachelor of Business Administration and Hospitality Management as early as right now. You can start in a March batch, latest by 31st March. Uh, pursue one complete year of your education, a Bachelor of Business Administration in Tourism and Hospitality Management, and actually move to the James Cook campus in July 23. We have another option of going to James Cook, which is called Russo Business School. Russo Business School is a Brisbane bound school. What's happening there is if you start with us in June, May 30th to be precise, in September, in 4 months, you can actually move to James Cook campus. Um, there are total 8 subjects that you are required to do for the first year. 4 subjects can be done in India, 4 in the Brisbane campus of Russo, I'm sorry. And in the Feb intake, you can actually move to James Cook campus. So the point is that you don't have to remain in India for a very long time. You can just be in India for 4 months to complete 4 out of the 8 subjects in first year. First 4 in India. You move out in September of 22 to Brisbane. Go to the RBS, the Russo Business School campus in Brisbane. Complete the latter 4 subjects, and then immediately in February move to the second year of James Cook University, Brisbane, in February. So you fast track, accelerate, expedite your learning curve. Your first year is over in 8 months instead of 12 months. And in India, you just have to spend about 4 months between June to September. That's another option that James Cook University has to offer you. Once you finish that business program at Russo, uh, you can actually take up the hospitality management course from second year onwards. You can actually skip and waive off the complete first year of credits. We have another question, Vaibhav. Give me a second. Does JCU offer any international exchange programs, Vaibhav?
Uh, yes, we do have some international exchange programs where you can go and probably do a semester in another country. We have partner institutions across the globe. So again, I think the one place where you can get more information is the website, and I have I've dropped the link, the website details in the chat box. You can pick it up from there. But if you still have any questions, feel free to reach out to us and we'll be able to assist you.
Thank you for that, Vaibhav. Let me see if we've got any other questions. Not yet. At this point, would love to ask you, which companies or which international organizations have been past employers of James Cook graduates, Vaibhav?
See, majorly most of the big fours and even in the big companies in Australia, they have recruited students for from JCU Brisbane in particular, and then of course from our Cairns and Townsville campus as well. Uh, so yes, we have a very strong industry partnership, and because we offer this professional internship module, this gives an unfair advantage to the students to get the right kind of skill sets that the employers are looking at in an employee. And then the job links come into the picture where they help you, they nurture you in developing those skills over the time, and which makes you more employable by the time you complete your degree. So yes, there are ample opportunities available. Another website that I would recommend all of you to go and have a look is the www.seek.com.au, which gives you a good idea of what are the kind of jobs that are available in your particular industry and what are the average salaries that are being offered, because that will give you a very good context of what you are getting into and what can you expect in terms of ROI.
Right. We have a question here that says, how can I apply for a loan in upgrad? So, for your bachelor's degree, upon submission of a collateral, you do get a loan. The principal and interest, both of which start getting charged to you after the completion of your degree. 6 months after the completion of your degree is when you're supposed to pay back or start the repayment of the loan. Uh, you can just contact us. I can give you my email address and then I can take you through the complete loan process. Meanwhile, Weber would love for you to throw a brief context on part-time work in Australia, the number of hours that are allowed, and what kind of part-time work opportunities are there in Brisbane, Weber.
Sure. Thanks for the question, Praneeth. So, uh, every international student is legally allowed to work up to 20 hours in a week while you are studying your program. And once you've completed the program, you are allowed to stay back for another 2 years and work full time. Uh, the kind of opportunities that are available in terms of part-time jobs is definitely in a couple of industries like the service industry and the hospitality industry. A lot of students end up taking up jobs in different cafes, restaurants. So there are opportunities available. And again, job links is something that is one stop shop for every student where they can go and take assistance in terms of finding these part-time jobs in Brisbane while you are studying there.
Thanks, Weber. And how many hours can they actually work, and what is the average pay rate of an Australian part-time worker?
So Praneeth, it will range anywhere between 15 to $20 per hour. And what this also ensures is that you're able to actually offset a big amount of your living expenses from the money that you make by working part-time. So a lot of international do this as a practice. They work part-time, they earn money, and they are able to, pay for not the entire, but a good portion of their living expense can be paid off from that money that they make.
Wonderful. And how are living costs like in Brisbane, Weber?
So it is, as I was telling in the first slide, so it's cheaper compared to the other capital cities like Melbourne and Sydney. So the average living expense in Australia would be somewhere between 10 to 12 lakh Indian rupees. But as I said, if you're working part-time, you can of course take care of a huge portion of that money by working casually. So yeah, I mean, uh, 10 to 12 lakhs is the average.
Right, Weber. At this point, I also just want all our learners to understand that the first year of the upgrad program can actually allow you to study hospitality not just in Australia but across the world. So you can go to any of these universities in Australia, Deakin, Canberra, Curtin, and James Cook, or you can go to the US, University of Idaho, Cleveland, or the UK, Essex, Kiel, Plymouth, Sheffield, Harlem, DMU, or Canada, TWU, UCW, Yorkville, or another university in Australia called Torrance. So uh, upgrad's first year credits are pretty uniform to enter into any of these programs as a lateral entry student into second year. Like Weber was mentioning, I think there are four major benefits of studying or spending a year in India, one of which is that you develop academic readiness. in case there are students here in India who don't really know if they fit into the culture or the rigor or the grueling nature of academics abroad, you can actually spend a year in India and see if you see yourself um, as a good fit, or even if you don't, you can at least adapt to how education is important there. After this, we'd love to ask Vaibhav, how does an average week look like in the life of a JCUB student? Going to the second point, so after that 1 year of study in India, you can choose between different degrees. For example, if I pick up the example of James Cook University, which is right here, you can take up either BBA and BI and IS or international business or HRM or management or hospitality and tourism management, or even a degree in event and tourism management. Likewise, Canberra gives you the option of doing BCom, BBA, B accounting, or event and tourism management. So if you don't know what exactly to be pursued, you can actually wait until 1 year and not waste that year. You can at least study the first year and then take up anything in the second year. Third is, of course, you get the second year directly in James Cook. You don't have to do the first year. You save up almost 90% of the cost. And plus, like Vaibhav mentioned, you get about 20 to 25% scholarship also. Lesser cost and higher ROI. Of course, you're spending a lot lesser. You're spending 90% lesser in the first year. And of course, your return on investment will only grow higher because the post-study work visa of 2 years in Brisbane stays uniform for you. The normal job pay rate stays uniform for you. The other thing is, if you're an art student, if you're a business student without mathematics and you want to take a BBA, you can with upGrad. If you are from arts, you can move to hospitality management with upGrad. If you're a science student, you can move to upGrad for hospitality management. Multiple entry exit points. So to study in James Cook, we have two affordable methods. One is you spend 1 year in India and do the complete year. The second option is you spend 4 months in India rather than starting your visa process now for a direct application. What you can do is save time. Start on May 30th at Rousseau Business School in Australia on upGrad's platform. Within 4 months, you move to Australia in September. Do the rest half of the program, the latter half of the program until February. And in Feb, you move to JCU. So within 8 months, you can actually move to JCU. And within 4 months, you can actually move to Australia. So there are multiple entry exit points for an Australian degree. I have a few questions at this point. Give me 1 second. Does upGrad have any tie-ups with Asian countries? Unfortunately, no. For master's degree, also have to spend 4 months in India. While you can go abroad, definitely, you don't necessarily have to spend 4 months in India. But the point is that the months that you spend in India actually allow you to save tons and tons of money, because abroad you are charged per credit. So the number of credits, for example, in Australia, we cover 24 of the 72 credits that James Cook University students are supposed to cover for a 3-year degree. 24 of them credits, those course credits can be covered in India. So that means the credit cost of 24 credits can be saved, which is beyond $1,500 more or less. $1,300 to $1,500 per credit can be saved, right? So you end up saving about 20 lakhs of rupees, both living and tuition fee. The next one is, we have a question. Will there be an upcoming MBA program with specialization in hospitality? Well, that's difficult to say, but I think very soon we should have something in the UK and the US, right? If there's any question at all, we'd love to take them.
So I would just like to answer Daksh's question, Praneeth. So
Sure.
he's asking, so we do have a dual degree program at JCU Brisbane. We've got a Masters of Hospitality and Tourism program, which is clubbed with an MBA. So what happens here is you actually end up studying the business units where you can develop your business acumen and your managerial skills. And at the same time, you can also develop your hospitality skills by studying the hospitality unit. So it's a beautiful blend. You can definitely, if you're interested in hospitality and want to get into the administrative side of the things in the industry, then certainly go on our website and look at the MBA and the Masters of Hospitality dual degree program that we are offering.
Thanks, Vaibhav, for clarifying that. I would also request my team to post the James Cook University Bachelor Program for the students to apply. Would love for you to visit upgradabroad.com, visit our website. We have tons of programs for masters and bachelors. I'd also just help you find the program link for James Cook University in Brisbane for a Bachelor of Business Administration degree. Just give me a quick minute. There you go. Here's the website link for an accelerator program for business degree at James Cook. We have tons of other Australian universities, American universities, UK universities, and Canadian universities that you can definitely enroll yourself into. The first year is standard, while it's the BBA year for all management degrees across the world. It's the BCA year that gets you into engineering, technology, or science degrees across the world, UK, Canada, US, and Australia. We have one more question here. Yogi, so what is the first step to join, sir? I have given you a link, Yogi. You're supposed to register here and then start applying, right? We'll help you find the right loan for yourself. And also, if you want to book a career counseling session with us, I'm also going to give you a career counseling link. Career counseling. 1 second, please. Yes, I have given you a career counseling link as well. You may want to book a link for yourself also. If there's anything else that I could help you with, I definitely put up the question to Vaibhav. Well, I think we're done here, Vaibhav. Thank you so much for being an amazing guest for us. Would love to reach out to you should we have any more questions for you. I'm putting my email address in the chat box. If you have any question for Vaibhav about studying in Australia, you should definitely write to us. I would put your questions forward to Vaibhav. Thank you so much, everybody, for joining us. And thank you, Vaibhav. Would love if you have a parting message for us.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Praneeth. Thanks for having me. It was indeed a pleasure. Good to see so many questions coming in. So I'm sure a lot of you are pretty excited to get on this new journey. So I wish you all the best. And a lot of you are currently in your year 12 and would be appearing for year 12 exams. So wish you all the best for that. And I'm sure you will pass with flying colors. Thanks so much, Praneeth. Thanks once again.
Thank you, everybody. Wishing all of you a great weekend ahead. Thank you.